What's going on, everybody? We are live. So how's everybody doing today? I'm telling you right now, this is going to be one hell of a show because we're going to be discussing the plot of The Chosen One. This has been a topic that's been debated for a long time within the Star Wars fandom. Who is really the Chosen One? And one that has still not been put to bed. So today we're going to tackle it and give our thoughts on the most outrageous topic. Then as always, we got some news and rumors, the Star Wars Impossible quiz. So sit back and relax as the most outrageous Star Wars shows on the web takes you on a journey. That is The Chosen One.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
At last we will reveal ourselves to the
I have a bad feeling about this.
You are now LightSaber Radio. If you only knew the power of God's.
Here it comes.
Let's go.
You are now tuned in to LightSaber Radio. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello there.
So what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? We got Clint in the chat. We got Chris
Yes.
in the chat. Infected's in the chat. Oh, I'm sorry, Clint. That's
Everybody's here.
I hate being hungover. That's just not any fun. But you didn't miss
Dude.
the show. We had to reschedule the show because I had to work yesterday, and then CJ had to work. It was us all fucked up. Everything's been fucked up for today. So when we got to it, we're gonna do it. Tori's filling in, which we're gonna be seeing Tori a lot more on the show. But she's filling in for CJ today. But like I said, she's gonna be on a lot more shows because we need that female perspective. Because sometimes we just get in some dumb man perspective, and then we lose sight of everything. We need somebody to keep us in line. So Tori's gonna.
There's
come in
nothing
and
wrong
take
with my
that position.
perspective, Kyle.
Hey now. You're both
Here,
pretty,
I
I
got more
promise.
in here because you're like really dark. Like I can almost barely even see you.
Yeah,
Me?
Yeah. You
It's
got
flipping hotel, bro.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah. Just move the
Garrison-
lamp.
Garrison.
How's that?
Yeah, that's better.
Better.
Garrison's in a hotel
I'm
right
just-
now.
You got that cool when you move the lamp. You got that cool
I
like
can't.
half light, like half
Just
dark
turn on
side
all the
thing
lights in the
going.
room.
So
Is that the only light in the room? There ain't no lights on the ceiling or anything.
Yeah, if all the lights are on, dude.
just take your phone, put your flashlight on, and like face it
Oh,
towards
that
you.
way- that got
So
me.
much
That works.
better.
Just turn it off.
Yeah, just turn one of the lights off. That worked a little bit better. That's crazy. Yeah. So how you doing today, Tori?
I'm good. I'm alive.
You're alive.
I'm alive.
I hope so. We're looking at you.
There was like 4 hours of sleep that happened, and I don't even want to know what's happening in my kids' room right now.
At least
That
you
sounds like
slept.
a 3-hour Tory problem.
Yeah, that's and just for everybody, Tori kept me up on Friday night until like midnight, and then I had to get up at like 3:30 in the morning. It sucked. I was fucking so tired, and I had to drive that day, so it was like, oh my god, I'm at work trying not to fall asleep driving a trash truck. Like, oh, I'm about to kill somebody.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to keep you up, but hey, at least it was like semi-important stuff, like trying to
Yeah.
get everything figured out and fixed.
Yeah, that's true.
Our Instagram and Twitter just like fucking kicked everybody out of it, and it was all fucked up. We couldn't figure out. We thought we got hacked. It was bad. It was all bad. But we got to figure it out. So, so today we're going to be talking and we're going to be tackling and discussing a very hard topic. There's evidence that supports many different plots and people and outlooks on who the Chosen One really was. And we're going to actually play some of those things that's in the movie, and we're going to discuss some of the stuff that's being put out in the books, some of the stuff there's a whole bunch of different shit that has to do with the Chosen One. Because this is a hard thing. Everybody says that Anakin was the Chosen One, but there's evidence that proves otherwise. But then there's evidence that also proves that he is.
Wrong.
So it's just kind of on the outlook of how you look at it. So this should be a fun show to watch, because this is something that, you know, a lot of other people try to take, and hopefully we can offer some different insights on who the Chosen One was. But before we get started, we have a tradition here at LightSaber Radio, something that we get our outrageous juices flowing, a form of an icebreaker that we call the Hothbreaker, pun the Empire Strikes Back. Garrison is going to give us a crazy scenario, and we're going to give our most outrageous responses. And we want everyone in the chat to join in. Everybody that's been here knows what to do. So Garrison, drop that video.
Got you. All right. So I was gonna do a Vegas theme Heartbreaker, but then I couldn't think of anything. So we're gonna do something else. Hey, dude, I haven't even slept yet. So
Yeah,
we've
you
been
don't sleep
making
much
it.
when you're in Vegas.
Yeah, dude, we've been making it count.
You have to.
So Kylo Ren has always confused me because he's always obsessed with Darth Vader, but I don't think you realize that Darth Vader turned good at the end. So if you're Anakin's Force Ghost and you had the opportunity to come to Kylo Ren, what would you tell this guy?
Kill your mother.
Kill your mother? Why?
Not
And your uncle.
Dude, I'm visiting this mother
Okay.
trucker. I'm slapping him across the face. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
okay, so I would immediately walk up and be like, so we need to have a talk. Like, you need some counseling. Like, you got some serious daddy issues. I can see that. Like, this is not kosher here.
he's
If
like,
I
he's
was
like,
Vader, I would really come to him and say, dude, you really following this punk ass fool Snoke? That's not a real Sith Lord. That dude's a bitch. I would have whooped his ass.
Chris, he's like, Kylo, the McRib is only back for a limited time.
It's always been like that, man. You don't need to throw such a huge fit over it.
Yeah, it's. I don't know, man. That's good. I guess if he comes back as like Anakin, and he sits there and he's sitting there talking to him, he has to be like, dude, don't you realize that I turned back to the good side?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And go back to the chosen one thing. I was the chosen one, and I threw Palpatine down a pit. So, or down
Listen,
the Death
he's
Star.
he's like, grandfather, I will finish what you started. And I'd be like, what did I start exactly? I'm pretty sure the last thing I did was kill a Sith Lord. So
Yeah, so you're finishing that.
why don't you finish what I started?
Like I sacrificed myself for
I
the
fucked
greater
up the
good.
balance of the Force once again. You know? So you might
Actually,
not wanna
bro,
follow
you would
anything
appear
that
to
I
him.
do.
He'd be like, "Who are you?" He goes,
Yeah, 'cause
"I'm
he
your
wouldn't know who he
grandfather."
was.
No, my grandfather was Darth Vader. He goes, "Yeah, that's me."
My
Where's your
grandpa was
suit?
a toaster.
My
I wonder-
grandfather was in a machine.
I wonder who told him that Darth Vader was really his grandfather. Was it Snoke, or did Luke tell him, or did Leia
Well,
tell him?
So I think it was a mixture. No, I haven't read a whole bunch of books. Like, I just bought The Princess and the Scoundrel, and I haven't even started reading it yet. I'm trying to finish another book I'm reading. But I think that Luke and Leia would have had like a sit down with them and be like, "Okay, so this is gonna come out anyway," because the whole thing with Luke or Leia was it came out that she was the son of or daughter, sorry, of Vader when she was running for office, I believe it was. She was running
Or
for
the
office,
Supreme
and her
Chancellor. She
Yeah.
because it was between, if I remember correctly,
it was between Leia and one other person, and the other person found the box that Padme had left to her saying, "Hey, Anakin is your father." And she kept it away, but the opponent found it and used it as a blackmail to try and get people to turn away from her. But it worked in the opposite, where everybody was like, "Hey, this is the daughter of the notorious Darth Vader, and she is amazing and good," and she was elected. So I think that
Well, I
in
know-
that particular case, I think that Leia and Luke would have sat down and been like, "Hey, don't be like my dad. Don't be a dick."
Well, another thing that kind of, because I know at one point Anakin visits Leia as a Force ghost, and she's like, "Get the hell away from me." I can't remember which book it is, but she's like, "Get the hell away from me." You know what I'm saying? I don't ever want to talk to you. All the evil. He's like, "Dude, I was corrupted." You know what I'm saying?
Daddy
And
issues,
He
yeah.
He's trying. He understands why she's mad at him, but he's trying to, you know what I'm saying, form a relationship with her. And so I think Luke is the one that told Leia, but I'm not sure which one of them told Kylo Ren. But if I was Anakin and I popped up I'd have been like, I'm your grandfather. He'd have been like, no, my grandfather was Darth Vader, and then I'd force smack him because you know he ain't got no hand. He's a ghost, so you have to use the force. And we know that they can use the force as force ghosts because Yoda does it in Episode 9 when he catches the tree on fire, the sacred tree when he burns down the sacred texts and shit. So we know that they can use the force. Well, shit, they are part of the force, so you know what I'm saying. They can use the force. So he just force smack him like, hey, shut up and listen, boy. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Tater Nuts 99? Damn, that's a hell of a name. Tater Nuts 99.
Tater Nuts.
All I'm thinking is
Tater Tots.
no, tater salad. Ron White.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Clinton
call
turned us
me
on
Tater salad.
to us.
Oh.
Hey, sweet. And
Yes,
thanks
the Clintons
to Clinton.
have been longtime listeners of us. Yes, the Clintons have been listening to us for a long time.
Yeah.
Tori's like,
no,
yes.
no.
Hillary's a close associate of mine. I'm just
I
kidding.
think he's talking about Clinton.
I know. I was joking.
Long-time listeners.
I know. I was
But,
joking.
That was a knee
Let's see, what did Chris
slapper.
say? Luke might be able to sway him back to the light side by telling him about Anakin and Padme was, how kind-hearted Padme was. Yeah. But I think if Anakin just came in and just as a Force Ghost and just told Kylo, like, you're a bitch. Quit being a bitch. Turn back to the light side. I turn back to the light side. You see, I could do it. If I could do it, you could do it. Quit being a punk. And don't, why are you following this fucking wrinkled fucking weirdo looking motherfucker? There's like only one of him in the entire galaxy. You know what I'm saying? So you know he can't be right. He got to be wrong.
Yeah.
Take it from me. Never follow the person who looks like a ball sack.
Yeah. That's a good
Learn
one.
from my mistakes.
That's a good one. Okay, so what is your guys' thoughts on who the chosen one? Who do you guys think the chosen one was?
Anakin.
You think Anakin
100%.
was the chosen
It's
one?
Anakin. Bro, Anakin literally doesn't have a father. The only other chosen one in history was Jesus, and he also didn't have a well, he kind of had a father, but he didn't have a father. So, like, the parallels right there, that's good enough for me. He's chosen one.
I don't know. There's
Okay,
some
so-
evidence that says something different.
George Lucas said Anakin was the chosen one.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that a little bit later.
Kyle's like, no.
Okay, go ahead, Tori.
Okay, I'm going to agree but disagree. So, yes, George Lucas did say that Anakin was the chosen one. Like, without him, the whole story kind of wouldn't exist. The whole universe was kind of built around Anakin. However, I think that once he decided to Youngling Slayer 5000, he stopped being the chosen one. And I think that got changed. And Luke was kind of a conduit to try and bring him back. So Luke was never the chosen one. He was, but he wasn't. This sounds extremely weird. I'm sorry.
That was for
He was, as in he's supposed to bring his dad back to where he was supposed to be and try to bring balance back by bringing his dad balance. But I think that Anakin was only the chosen one until he decided what side he was on, and he chose the dark side. That's when he stopped being the chosen one until he stepped up and started being a dad and, saved Luke's life.
Okay, so here goes what I think. All right, and this is going to be kind of, you just follow me here. The actual prophecy says the chosen one will be born of no father, and through him will ultimate balance in the Force be restored. So we know Anakin didn't have a dad. Okay, we know Anakin in all aspects, he did bring balance to the Force because he killed all the Jedi. There was basically Yoda and Obi-Wan and Palpatine and Darth Vader at the end point, because Luke hadn't been trained really yet in the Jedi. All the rest of the Jedis was dead or they was hiding. They wasn't Jedis no more. And they probably wasn't using the Force, because if they used the Force, then people would know, and then they would get killed. And I'm talking about by the time of New Hope. So, or the original trilogy. So he did two things. But there's been multiple times within the trilogy where the manipulation of the forces came up, especially in manipulation in life. Then you go to James Lucino's book, Plagueis. Plagueis manipulated midichlorians to create Anakin. So technically, he was not created from the Force without a father. He was created by the manipulation of midichlorians by Plagueis. So when you break down all that, like, was he truly? He's not of the Force. The Force didn't create him. Now there is some speculation the Force created Anakin in hindsight because Plagueis was trying to create life through manipulations of midichlorians. So there's a lot of different aspects. And we do know George Lucas said that Anakin was the chosen one. We do know that. But there's other points within the storyline that George Lucas was a part of that says something different. So it's kind of, it kind of leaves you like, was he really the chosen one? Now the whole idea that Luke was the chosen one kind of, you know what I'm saying, is kind of, I don't know, because he had a father, so he couldn't technically be the chosen one. But then if you look on the other hand, and this is what, now we're going to break into some other things, because it says that he will be balanced to the Force and he will destroy the Sith, which is technically not part of the original prophecy. It never says anything about killing the Sith. A lot of argument is that he killed the last Sith by killing Palpatine. He killed himself, so the Sith were no more. But then Episode 9 proves something totally different, which we know Episode 9 is not technically part of what George Lucas wanted to do. Yes. But George Lucas did give J.J. Abrams a lot of insight on how to write the story. So the Sithari, and this is another term, also has, the Sith have a prophecy about almost exactly the same thing. The Sithari will be free of limits. That means he will have a high midichlorian count, and that he will be able to do things that other Sith or other Jedi would not be able to do. The Sithari will lead the Sith and destroy them. The Sithari will rise the Sith from death and make them stronger than before. So we can argue that Bane
was a Sithari.
Was also a chosen one.
Right.
Because Bane, even though he had a father, he fulfilled that prophecy.
Right.
He destroyed the Sith, and then he rebuilt the Sith from death and made them stronger than ever before, because he created a rule of two. So were there multiple chosen ones throughout the galaxy? Were there multiple beings that had such a high power ratio and had such knowledge that they were able to do things that other people were not? But were they created from the Force? Now, there is no true answer, because we don't know for a fact whether or not Plagueis created Anakin Skywalker by manipulating the midichlorians, or if the Force created Anakin.
Well, I think either way, the Force, because the Force surrounds everything and is in everything, I kind of assume that the Force is like omniscient. So when the Force revealed this prophecy to the Jedi, whether the Force created Anakin or Plagueis created Anakin, the Force knew that this Anakin was going to be created without a father, whether Plagueis or the Force made him. So the prophecy still stands, whether Plagueis created him or not, because the Force is omniscient. It would know that Plagueis would create, and that whatever that person that he created would grow up to be the chosen one.
So Chris is kind of on the same wavelength as Kyle. He's like, I think the chosen one is more of a mantra to follow, where Anakin, Luke, and Rey could have all, in a sense, be a chosen one. But if enough people tell you that, it can be motivation to see the bigger picture, or to be the bigger picture. And then if we base it off the Christian, if we base it off the Christian view of the chosen one, Anakin is most closely resembles a similar path of Jesus. In the end, he ends up sacrificing himself for the greater good, despite the route taken. So
I think about like this. A lot of people, and this is one of the big arguments that is going around at this point in time. One of the big arguments is that Anakin was not the chosen one. Luke, Leia, Bane, none of them were the chosen one. Grogu is the chosen one. Because Grogu...
Oh, fuck off.
Now listen to the theory here.
God damn. Get Grogu out of this
That's
shit.
the Disney bullshit. Just kidding.
Now listen
I
to
hate
this.
Grogu.
Now listen to this. Okay. Sex is forbidden within the Jedi Order.
No, sex is not. It's the
Attachments.
attachments.
There's no evidence that Yoda and Yaddle
Got it on.
bumped uglies to create Grogu.
Yes.
Grogu was brought to the Jedi Order by who knows where. Who knows who brought him there. So we don't know where he came from.
Right.
We don't know where Yoda came from. We don't know where Yaddle came from because there's no idea.
So they could
where
all
they
be
came
chosen
from.
ones. The chosen three.
By
Three chosen.
Yoda, by Grogu being rescued and Grogu turning down Luke, he is in perfect balance. So he would bring the balance to the Force. If he survives all the shit that goes on between Order 60, I mean not Order 66, but the First Order and all that shit.
It's a very interesting theory. Not
So
one
that's
I
a
agree
theory
with,
that's
but it's
going around
interesting.
as of right now, that Grogu is actually the chosen one because he is born of the Force. Nobody knows where he came from. Nobody knows if he has a father or
just
not.
because we don't know if he has parents doesn't mean that he doesn't.
Yeah, well, we don't know that Shimmy Skywalker wasn't a whore and lied about it. We don't know
Jesus Christ.
That's just what she said.
That's fair.
We just automatically
That's fair.
assume that we can trust her. We don't know what she was doing. We don't know what Guado was making her do.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
great
As a
point.
slave. We don't know anything about her backstory. So without knowing anything about her backstory, we are just assuming that she's telling the truth. That the Force was just created Anakin. This is all assumptions. That's what makes this such a good topic, is because a lot of the things that we have to go off haven't been explained. So we're just guessing at this point.
So Kyle, I'm really glad that you said that about Shmi, because everybody always was like, oh yeah, Anakin was made by the Force. He was made by the Force. And we're like, okay, how exactly do we know that? Even in high school and middle school, I was like, it never said that. Everybody just kind of assumed that because she said, when asked, all she said was, he has no father. So that could have meant the dad just walked out.
Yeah.
Because at that point,
there was no father. Isn't that what it was? He has, or there was no father?
I think it is no father. Give me a second. I'm looking this up.
I think she said that there was no father. He just came to be. Which would be in direct terms of the same thing that Mary said, that Jesus didn't have a father, even though she was married to Joseph. You know what I'm saying?
She says isn't a father. There isn't a father. So again, that she says there isn't a father. So that could mean that she had a guy found, she got pregnant. She didn't necessarily have to be a whore. Like, could have been the same dude.
A slave. If somebody came, and you got to think about it. If somebody came in to Guado and said, hey, I want to hump Shimmy, you don't think he's going to sell her off?
That's valid.
She's a slave.
That's valid.
You know what I'm saying? And before that, she was one of the Hutts. She was a slave to one of the Hutts. And Guado won them in a bet. So at this point, if you really think about it, we don't know what happened to her prior. And it never tells her, it never tells them, and it never says within the story exactly when Guado won them in the bet. She could have had Anakin before Guado ever even had her. You know what I'm saying? So, because we don't know none of the backstory. Without the backstory, this is all just assumptions. We're just assuming that what she said, she could have been like, there's no father. I slept with 1,000 dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know which one it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't tell you which one it was. I know it was a human because he's human, but you know what I'm saying?
So it's just, yeah, like one of those things. Wait a second.
I think it's one of those things that George is the only one that truly knew the answer, which George did say, and we will see the clip here shortly, about Anakin being the chosen one. He did say the first 6 movies are based here. I'm gonna play some clips of the different times that it talks about or who the chosen one was.
And Anakin technically did not kill the last of the Sith because he actually didn't kill Palpatine if you count the sequels.
If we go off the entire saga, which, you know what I'm saying, which is kind of hard since
it's all over the place.
Contradicted the first part, so it kind of made it weird. As soon as they brought back Palpatine, it made it real weird.
Yeah, so if you want to go only off
hold on.
More to say, have you?
With your permission, my master, I have encountered a virgins in the Force.
A virgins, you say?
Located around a person?
A boy. His cells have the highest concentration of midichlorians I have seen in a life form. It is possible he was conceived by the midichlorians.
Okay. But at this point, this is still just an assumption. It's just Qui-Gon believing something so much that...
Yeah, but like Shmi did say, like, there was no father. I carried him. I raised him. I can't explain what happened.
Well, and Qui-Gon says right here, he says the highest midichlorian count that he has ever found. They ain't tested everybody in the entire galaxy for midichlorian count.
Yeah,
so
I think.
There could be
but if it's higher than Yoda, that's a pretty big
count
yeah.
than Luke.
But
Anakin.
What if all of this is, granted, like, you can't change numbers once you do a blood test, but what if they're seeing that and it's the hopeful and the wishful thinking of, okay, there's an issue, we have to continue balance to the Force, and they're hoping it into existence. Like, yes, Anakin has a high count. Anakin has a high count, but they just, first of all, years of trauma on this kid, on young Anakin. Because
said the Force just got drunk and one night stumbled into Shmi's hut.
Shmi's hut.
But like that's their Jesus. It's wishful hoping. So yeah, he could have a high count, but he could just not be the chosen one, and they're just wishing and putting all of the pressure of the chosen one on this, 10-year-old.
Well, I mean, he still had a higher midichlorian count, as the infected just put it higher than Yoda, but that doesn't necessarily. You would ultimately think if the Force was the dad and Shmi was the mom, right? And the Force created Anakin. That means he would be freaking half midichlorian. He just said a higher count, because you would be half and half, right?
You'd be like,
no.
Force
The Force works. The Force is like different.
It works through the midichlorians. So if it works through the midichlorians, he would have a 50%. He would have like a 50% midichlorian.
Yeah, a 50 to 50 blood to midichlorian ratio.
So he would be like, his midichlorian count would be freaking astronomical if he was half. He just says it's higher than Yoda. We don't have no reference on what Yoda's is. Like, there isn't nobody ever says, well,
what's a good midichlorian count?
49%, and now Anakin's is 51. They don't give us an actual number.
Okay, so Yoda's
midichlorian count is 10.
No, so
Anakin's is 11.
They actually did. It has come out. So Yoda's midichlorian count, both Yoda and Yaddle have high midichlorian counts in their blood. Yoda's is roughly about 18,000, while Yaddle's was closer to 12,000, and Anakin was sitting at a solid 27,000.
Oh my God.
That's still not half, though.
It's not.
What? He would be
how do you know what's half? What
yeah, that's true. That's not it. All right, let's finish listening to what they say. Because that is kind of that's a lot. Shit, that's a whole lot more.
27,000 what?
You refer to the prophecy of the one who will bring balance to the Force. You believe it's this boy?
I don't presume to.
But you do. Revealed your opinion is.
I
Dude,
request
Yoda's
that
a
we
dick
test
to
it.
Qui-Gon.
He just
Oh,
cuts
but
him
you
off.
do.
You do presume.
What? When I watch this, when we watch this again, I realize like Yoda and Mace Windu are kind of a dick to Qui-Gon. Like they don't like each other.
Garrison, to answer your question, so they calculate the midichlorian count over per cell. So per cell in his body,
27,000 midichlorians per cell.
yes.
Fuck
a
me,
shit ton of
dude.
midichlorians.
That's huge.
That's a lot of midichlorians
Yeah.
per cell. But how many cells how many midichlorians can be in a cell?
Well, see, that's why I think it's like I don't think it's like the total number of midichlorians. I think it's like the concentration. So that's why it's per cell. So like Yoda, he's way smaller, but we all know he's stronger in the Force than flipping like a guy twice his size.
So all of this came out in Legends. Obi-Wan's was around 15,000, and then Palpatine's was never actually put on a number, but it was estimated to be just higher than Yoda's. So if Yoda was about 18,000, he would be about 18,500 and 19,000.
Yeah, but this is all speculation, though. Especially when it comes from Legends.
Yeah.
They could say anything in Legends.
Really,
only reason the James Luceno shit comes to pass is because Plagueis it was brought into canon, so that made James Luceno's book Plagueis part of canon as soon as they brought him into canon. By what should happen, but we know that doesn't always work that way either.
Oh, so this is there was a George Lucas actually came out and said something on it. So Obi-Wan said he had a midichlorian count of over 20,000. We do know that Anakin's potential before he got burned on Mustafar was double that of Sidious, but after the burning, that potential dropped to only 80% that of Sidious. And George actually came out and made a statement saying that there's not that much left of him, so his ability to be twice as good as the Empire disappeared. He's maybe now 20% less than the Empire. So, or the Emperor. So that kind of brings back.
As strong as he was.
Yeah, so that kind of brings back into when Vader did get through the Force lightning that Palpatine was using on Luke. That kind of adds to that feat, I guess, a little bit stronger, because now
the suit also made him stronger. The suit was actually attached to his nervous system, his breathing, like all the different places.
But it was it was built to work off of his body, though, and Palpatine's.
The only thing that was connected to Palpatine is if Palpatine's heart stopped, the suit would stop working. That's why Vader died. But, like, I don't know. I think I would have put better safety features in on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't grab me. You know what I'm saying? The suit won't let you even touch me.
Here's a force field.
Yeah, it's like the shock collar for a dog. You get within 2 feet of me.
But at the same time, it's kind of like, because if you go off of George, when Anakin threw Palpatine down the shaft, that was supposed to be the end of Palpatine.
Yes.
You know, it was Disney brought back Palpatine, not Luke. And we'll see that.
Somehow.
Yeah, we'll see that further along in the clips.
Oh. Trained as a Jedi, you request for him,
Finding him was the will of the Force. I have no doubt of that.
Why do they turn to Mace
Bring him
Windu?
before us, then.
Because he's second in command.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but why doesn't Yoda make the call? He's first in command. Why are you shirking your responsibilities, Yoda, just because you're scared? Come on. I'm just kidding.
Because anger leads to power, and power leads to not letting anybody else talk.
That's a good point. It's a good point. How?
I think Yoda already kind of knew the prophecy could be interpreted because he says it. The prophecy could be interpreted in many different ways.
Like misread and yeah.
Like misread, you know what I'm saying? So like bring balance to the Force, which Anakin did that. He killed all the damn Jedi.
Oh my
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, there was only 2 Sith that to bring balance. You got to kill all of the good side users. He did that shit.
Whatever.
Because the biggest concept is this: the Force, no matter what, the Force is always gonna go back from balance to imbalance to balance because the midichlorians people are born with high midichlorian counts. So if a kid is born with high midichlorian counts, then there has to be another one born of high midichlorian because it has to stay in balance. But what happens before that other kid is born? Then it's out of balance. So it's always in a transition of balance and imbalance. It's always happening. So to get it even close to a balance, because you got to think, we're only talking about the light side and the dark side. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like way more there because there's people all over the galaxy that have Force abilities that are not Jedi or Sith. And we see that between, like some of the bounty hunters that have Force abilities or some of the species like the Antachi, damn near every one of them is born with some type of Force ability. It's just part of who they are. It's part of their, their species. They're born with high midichlorian counts. So that, well, I'm not going to say high, but they all have abilities to use the Force in somehow. So if that's the case, then, it's always going to be in an imbalance. So does the chosen one actually bring balance to the Force? He only brings balance to the light and dark side. What about just the people that are just freaking can use the Force but don't? Or, they're not part of the light or dark side. They don't look at it like that. It's just part of who they are.
They're excommunicated members.
Yeah, well, I mean, they never even been found. You got to find, like, a lot of these people are found. You got a lot of kids are found or they're reported that they have some type of Force ability, and then the Jedi go get them when they're infants or the Sith or whatever. They go get them. What about the kids that never get turned in or don't even know? Until they get older. So there's like the Force is never truly going to be in balance. This is all about the light and dark side and prophecies, like the prophecy that Jesus is going to return and destroy the planet. Look, when is that going to happen? We don't know that this is going to happen right now, or this is the Anakin is that prophecy. The prophecy might not even have happened yet. We're just assuming because Qui-Gon, we're put into that position by the statements that Qui-Gon says right now. But there's more evidence, so let's watch some more video.
Anakin! The planet is the Force. Use it. You will let them go.
Truly are. Only the Chosen One could tame both my children.
I've taken your test. Now fulfill your promise and let us go.
But first, you must understand the truth. Now, all of you leave us.
Do not trust him.
You think?
I said, leave us. you feel your destiny? You must see it now. I am dying, and you must replace me.
Replace you? I can't stay here.
But this is yours. It has been foretold. The Chosen One will remain to keep my children in balance.
Okay.
So I'm glad that you grabbed that clip because somebody actually commented on Instagram. I made a post about the show. We're kind of doing the gist, whatever. Somebody commented and said, depending, the Chosen One was Anakin if he stayed as a balance to the evil and good forces on Mortis. The Chosen One was Luke had he kept his traits of loving his friends, determination, bravery, kindness, while adding new traits such as being wise and a better leader, and then perhaps offer him the same path as his father with love, then seeing him in Mortis, sins of the father, and so on, until the Chosen One brings balance to the Force, stays on Mortis.
My only question right there, the father is supposed to be the Force, right? The son is supposed to be the dark side of the Force. The daughter is the light side of the Force. So how the hell is the father dying?
I thought that the first time too.
You can't die. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's why I think it's stupid.
That's why I was like, dude, you can't. So if he's dying and he needs Anakin to replace him and the Chosen One, but if you go off of the beginning of what Obi-Wan said, he said the entire planet is the Force. Use it. And that's just him controlling the Force. He can control the Force. He's a Jedi. Just like the Sith can control the Force. So it doesn't necessarily mean, and he's just super strong in the Force, that he could use the Force to pull down them too. Because it's not like, I mean, they are the Force. So he's controlling, I think any Jedi could have been able to do the same in the same moment because they're drawing on the Force, which is the planet. Mortis is the Force. So all he's doing is doing exactly what the Sith and Jedi do all the time by controlling the Force. That's what they do. They control, let me rephrase that. The Jedi allow the Force to control them. The Sith they try to control the Force. But Anakin is a person that's like, he's in a position where he's in constant conflict. You know what I'm saying? When he gets angry, which right there he was angry, we see him cut down the sand people. We see him all kind of different shit happen. You know what I'm saying? So is he just not controlling the Force by using the Force?
So what if it's more of like a I just had it. It's more of like a Santa Claus thing, because you know how like in there's the whole Santa Claus thing of Santa Claus only exists because you believe, and if kids stop believing, Santa stops existing, and then you have the and then you have the Santa Claus movies where Tim Allen is not a believer and he kind of gets put into the position of Santa to make him a believer. What if like Anakin was having these problems with this self-balance internalization of himself? That was the way of trying to bring balance that way, where the Force exists kind of only because people acknowledge it exists.
I don't think that's true, because there was people that could use the Force that didn't even know what the Force was.
But it was still being talked about, so it still had power.
But it, you know, I don't know, because
like animals were using. They were like animals using the Force before people even started using the Force, right?
Yeah.
Like
it was on Dathomir. Dathomir has a higher concentration, I guess you could say. They all communicate. It's kind of like the whole Avatar thing. Everything intertwines with each other.
You got to think about it. If you go back to like the original Jedi and Sith, they were all on the same planet. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't call it the Force. And there's other planets within the thing that have, you know, like the Itachi. All Itachis can use the Force, but they don't call it the Force. They don't even know what it is. You know what I'm saying? They just are able to do it. So I don't know if it's something Well, I guess it's what is it? The same thing. God has 1,000 names and 1,000,000 faces or whatever. Like that. It's just about a belief system. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it's. Yeah, I don't think that it's based on a belief because it just is. So it doesn't have to. People don't have to believe in it, but faith could make you stronger in it because you see people have faith in different religions and are able to do miraculous things, and it happens all across the world all the time just because of faith. Faith is a very strong, a very strong action, because if you believe in something enough, you can make it come true. Like people that are healed, and it happens within all religions. That's why that's why one of the biggest things about religion is, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can we know that people in Muslims get healed. People in Christianity get healed. People in Buddhism get healed. Like, so how do we know it's like which God is right? Well, it's
the placebo effect is strong.
The believing effect is strong, but they're believing in something totally different. So, but the Force is something, the way it's explained is the Force is something that's always been. You know what I'm saying? It's the creator of all life. So basically, if you go back, you don't have to believe that you don't even have to know about it. And you're not, you know what I'm saying? It just is. So I don't think it's the belief system, but Anakin starting to believe that he might be the chosen one could actually make him stronger. You know what I'm saying? Because he believes in it. It's just,
it's fair.
And not just because he believes, but because everybody else does too. That they're projecting it onto him.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's the belief in everybody, because like you got a lot of people that don't believe he's the chosen one. You have like Mace. Mace always put him down as the chosen one. Like, you're not the chosen one. You're not.
Mace was a dick.
Mace
was just
hey.
It was just, because he didn't believe it. So I mean, it just depends on, you know what I'm saying? It's not all the Jedis believed it. It's just like not all the Sith believe that what's his face in the Bane book, whatever his name is, I can't remember his name right now, was the Sithari. They were like, just everybody called him that because he was so good, and then Bane ended up killing him. You know what I'm saying? So, like if you're the Sithari, you know what I'm saying, you're supposed to be super dope, and Bane kills him. So it just all depends on, just because you believe in something doesn't necessarily make it the truth. Or just because, and everybody believed that he was a Sithari. Everybody in the whole school, most of the Sith, believed he was the Sithari, and Bane cut him down in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't shit. This dude begged for his life before he died. So that doesn't necessarily mean that just because people believe it, it just makes it happen. But in that clip, I mean, the Force itself is pretty, because the Father is the Force, or supposed to be the Force. He calls Anakin the chosen one. So that's pretty good detail that Anakin is the chosen one. You know what I'm saying? That's the best evidence that we have that Anakin is the chosen one. Is because he's the Force itself, because the Father is the Force, or the balance of the Force, says only the chosen one could do that to my children, could control my children. You must stay here because I'm dying and I need somebody to replace me. So, I mean,
Anakin.
The evidence, that's the biggest evidence factor there. But then let's go on and watch a little bit more here, because it gets kind of weird.
You were the chosen one!
The one.
It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness!
Why are you doing?
You were my brother! I loved you!
I loved you!
At this point, Obi-Wan is realizing that Anakin might not be the chosen one because of the action. The chosen one was set to destroy the Sith. But it all looks at the Sith knows not the Sith, but the Force knows no timeline. The Force is forever and always.
Yeah.
So
Omnipresent.
him not knowing the events that was going to come, his lack of belief that Anakin is the chosen one at this point is reflected on the situation. Because he's basically said you were supposed to be the chosen one. You were supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them. But that once again goes back to what Mace and Yoda both said about the prophecy. It could be took in a different way. It might be being read out of context. You know what I'm saying? So that definitely could be a good point to, you know what I'm saying, to show that he's still the chosen one. What do you think, Garrison?
I still just think he's the chosen one. I don't know.
You don't have no.
You're not going to change my mind.
I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just saying, you know.
Garrison's just over here simping on Anakin.
No, I think like even if like I think the Force, like we talked about, is it's omniscient and omnipresent. Like time isn't a thing to him. I think at the end of the day, Anakin did still defeat the Sith and restore balance. Because like I know how a lot of people think, oh, he did restore balance. It's 2 Sith and 2 Jedi. I don't consider that balance. Balance to me is like, no, there's no Sith.
But then if there's light side, that's not balanced. They can't have one and not the other. Then that's not balance.
No. I think
because
balance.
The light side is going to be stronger than the dark side.
Right. But I think how I think the Force works is I don't think light side and dark side is a balance. I think the Force has a will of its own, right? And the Jedi, the light side, seeks to follow the will of the Force. And I think the dark side seeks to bend the Force to their will. So I think true balance is just following what the Force wants, like how a Gray would act. Because, yeah, Jedis are light side, and they generally follow the Force, but they also have rules that they won't cross, even when the Force might tell them to cross it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ask Freddie Prinze Jr., there is no Gray Jedis.
Right.
Well, I mean, if you look at it like that, Qui-Gon, well, we know that there's Gray Jedi. If you listen to all the books, they're always talking about balance. All the books talk about balance. And in the original, the oldest book that goes back, and I know this is Legends, but if you go back to Dawn of the Jedi, they seek balance, like true balance. Like they use the dark side and the light side, but they never stray too far to the dark or too far to the light. They tried to stay right in the middle.
And that's actually where I was going.
And since they stay right in the middle, you know what I'm saying, they use dark side, they use light side, they use what is, you know, Ashla and Bogan, you know what I'm saying, they try to keep a balance between the both. They really reflect what a Gray Jedi is. And then if you go look at Qui-Gon would probably be the closest to a Gray Jedi in this point, or a Gray Force user in this point, because he is only trying to follow the will of the Force. If the will of the Force says do this, that's what he does. He don't question the Force. And that's why he is so believing in, but he also shows to be proven as factual because he is the only Jedi that is before, you know, Yoda and Obi-Wan that can become a Force ghost. And you have to be within balance to become a Force ghost. Yes. Which was kind of debunked a little bit within the Clone Wars because Bane came back as a Force ghost to Yoda.
Oh, see, and I view that a different way. I didn't view that as a Bane's Force ghost. I viewed that more as like Bane's ghost.
Yeah, I saw it more as like not the Force ghost. Same thing kind of with Garrison. I saw it more of like a vision or like a premonition of like when you just people call it, you know, religious.
The ability to be able to come back as a ghost, you have to be able to use the Force. The Force is what allows you to come back to be a ghost. So just because we don't see him in like blue, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people that say the Sith couldn't come back as a Force ghost. But we see that Bane came back and talked to Yoda. We see that with our own 2 eyes. So we know that it's possible. Now, is it the same type of Force ghost? I don't think he's gonna have this blue, glow around him and be all, that's the light side. He's gonna be more like he was within Clone Wars, come out big, scary, fucked up. He's part of the dark side.
Right, he's
But
like
I
a
think
demon
Bane-
rather than like a
I think
Holy
by the
Spirit.
time Bane had came to death, which I still don't understand that, because if you go off of the book says when he tried to do Essence Transfer, he'd be lost in all eternity. He'd be kind of like the people that was trapped in the thought bomb. So it was kind of weird that he was able to come back as a ghost at all. But you know what I'm saying? I don't.
What if the whole thing, because how Qui-Gon explains the Force is it's a living being. It's not this great mystical entity. It's more of a living being that flows and moves through us and we work with it. What if that wasn't actually Bane? That was the living Force that was saying, "Hey, Yoda, I need to tell you something." And the Force knew that the only way that Yoda was going to fully get the impact of how that was or of the conversation was to show him, or was to appear in a Bane-esque way. Like look at it as in, it is, the Force is living. It's a living being. It knew that the only way to get truly through to Yoda was to show up as some monster, essentially, whatever you want to call Bane, for that message to fully seep in. Because if Yoda showed up, or the ghost, the Bane showed up as a different Jedi that had died prior, then it probably wouldn't have sunk into Yoda as much.
Well, I mean, it's regardless of the situation, he was a ghost. He's the only Sith that's ever been a ghost that we know of. That we've seen on throughout the George Lucas trilogy part, or George Lucas part. He's the only Sith that ever been a ghost, and he's the only Sith ghost that we've ever seen. Not to say that there couldn't be more as time goes by, as what we see what Disney could do, but regardless, it was a ghost. And because you got to think about it, even if the Force used Bane to tell Yoda, it wouldn't be no different than the Force using Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan, or it would be exactly the same. The Force is the one that's in control of what happens.
Right.
So it wouldn't be no different. Chris says, can we make the argument that Ezra could also be on the path of being a chosen one?
What? Really?
No, I don't get that. Head on.
Okay, I was going to say,
you're gonna need to explain that one, babe.
Ezra had Bane had a dad, but we don't know that was his real dad. I mean, that's all just, what I'm saying. I mean, Ezra got to do some special shit that other people didn't get to do, but then you could sit back and say Ahsoka. Because Ahsoka had a mom and a dad, but she probably brought more balance to the Force because she took out a gang of Inquisitors and
Lenny, Pizza and Red Hot Wings is the chosen one.
The interpreter during the Shatterpoint book, he thought he might be the chosen one himself. Yeah, Mace, because of what he could do. He could utilize the dark side and the light side. But utilizing the dark side and the light side don't make it. Because I would make the thing that anybody would be Revan. Because Revan was the light and the dark. And then he was able to use both. But, I just don't... It doesn't follow the entire passage. Which, the Jedi, or the Jedi, were Greys. And they're the one that came up with the philosophy. Right after, if you read the second book in the thing, right after the Sith Empire shows up in that galaxy. Lenny makes a good point. You cannot destroy the Jedi or the Sith. They will always be, but there are many Jedi and only 2 Sith. The balance was one powerful Sith and a bunch of Jedi, but Order 66 shifted that balance to power. Yeah.
So, Kyle, you said that Bane was the only Sith. Wouldn't Anakin be considered a Sith still as a Jedi, or as a Force ghost? Because he left, he joined this, he became a Sith. He never fully was oh yes, I am renouncing my Darth Sith ship. So technically he could have been a Sith Force ghost.
Well, once he,
I mean, if you want to look at it the way of he sacrificed himself to save, Luke and all of that, you could look at it that way. But also at the same point, Palpatine killed his master.
Yeah, but Palpatine stayed.
That's true.
Palpatine didn't kill his master. Palpatine killed his master. All Sith end up killing their master, and it's been going back since the very beginning of
For
time.
selfish reasons.
For selfish reasons. Anakin killed Palpatine and sacrificed himself out of love, which is a good thing.
But it doesn't mean that he became a Jedi again.
That was what redeemed him. His love is what redeemed him.
But if you look at it as the Jedi as a religion, like most religions, you have to fully go back through and being like, yes, I'm coming back. Like there was never that we can assume that, yeah, cool, he went back to being a Jedi because he did a good deed. But he still was a shitty person prior to that.
Yeah, well, he was a good person prior to being a shitty person. So, well, he was kind of an imbalanced person before he became a shitty person. But love, basically what George was trying to show in one of the documentaries, I don't remember, I think it might be the documentary that we got a clip of right here. But he says that when Anakin killed Sidious, he fulfilled the prophecy, and he fulfilled the prophecy and redeemed himself out of love because of the love for his child. So when he described it that way, it was love that redeemed himself to the light side. We're not talking about Jedi and Sith here. And a lot of people get confused with that. We're not talking about Jedi and Sith. We're talking about fulfillment of the prophecy by, the light and dark side. When love overturned the dark within him, and he allowed the love to flow through his body, he became a light side user again. He picked up Sidious.
Yes.
And down the thing.
Greater love hath no man than he layeth down his life for his friends. That was Darth Vader.
So he fulfilled the prophecy and destroyed the Sith. But it still doesn't make him the chosen one because he destroyed the Sith. And that's like one of my arguments is it still doesn't make him the chosen one because he destroyed the Sith. Because as the prequels show us, Sidious didn't die. I know that's prequels.
Or sequels, you mean? Sequels.
Yeah, sequels. The sequels.
Yeah. That's why the sequels ruined Star Wars.
Technically.
Crazy, right?
If you go off of the entire trilogy or the entire saga, that would make he didn't kill Palpatine. He killed the clone of Palpatine. So, which is kind of crazy. Then, how did they really clone the heart and put the thing in the heart? That if the clone died, then Darth Vader died, or did Darth Vader just die because he thought he was going to die because he was hooked up?
Well, here's where it gets complicated because the sequels, the sequels don't fit with the rest of Star Wars, and I think that's where that sticks out. That's one of the circumstances where that sticks out the most, is that the sequels just do not fit, and they just don't make sense along with the rest of Star Wars when you get down to it.
I mean, even George has said that, where he was talking about, I believe it was the first one, The Force Awakens. He said that it is not the way that Star Wars was meant to be written. It wasn't the way that Star Wars was going. He didn't come out and say, oh yeah, I hated it. He didn't come out and say I loved it. He just made a very clear point of that's not the way Star Wars was written. And he said nothing about the other two. Well, so
like I said, I don't know if it was, I don't know which one of the documentaries, but I was watching one of the documentaries or one of the interviews with George. And George says he told JJ, you know what I'm saying? Basically, the Phantom Menace was written in order to fill in gaps that was in the original trilogy. He was like, there was gaps in the original trilogy. And The Force Awakens was made to fill those gaps. So it showed more of like the way the Force worked. That's why it's awakening. This was the idea, and this is what he kind of whispered in J.J. Abrams' ear, which to me, J.J. Abrams didn't follow it very well, and all they did is rewrite New Hope again and just had new characters. But he said that it wasn't really done in a manner that the Star Wars was supposed to flow. And I, like he said about the last one, he was like, it just didn't make no sense. Like, Palpatine's dead. How'd he come back?
Oh, I found the actual. They wanted to do a retro movie. He said in a 2015 PBS interview. I don't like that. Every movie I've worked very hard to make them different. I made them completely different. Different planets, different spaceships to make it new. Lucas had expressed to Bob Iger that there's nothing new and that there wasn't enough visual or technical leaps forward.
Really? That's what was wrong with it. Are you sure?
Chris brings up a good point about Ezra, though. Ezra can open both Jedi and Sith holocrons. So he floats the balance of both sides and sacrifices himself for the greater good, too. I think his story has a lot more to be discovered.
Yeah, there's more to Ezra, but I still don't think that makes him the chosen one.
Yeah, just being able to open up both the holocrons doesn't really make, I don't know. Well, you got to think about it. During Rebels, he was kind of going through a little dark point there when he was being able to open up the Sith holocrons. And you don't necessarily have to be a Sith to open a Sith holocron.
Yeah, just makes you a safecracker.
You just got to be able to use the Force. If you can use the Force and you want something bad enough, because wanting and power and stuff, and at that point, Ezra was seeking out power. That's kind of why it was kind of turning him to the dark side, because he was getting he wasn't following. Lenny says, maybe Luke, in a way, love uses the Force to cleanse Vader back into Annie and unbalance the Force again with one Jedi and no Sith. Like Kyber crystal cleansing. Okay, let's watch some more of this because there's some more clips.
Hey, really quick, going off of Chris's comment. So in season 2, Maul explained one must be a Sith or think like one in order to open a holocron, a Sith holocron. So technically, any Jedi could open a Sith holocron if they have just the occasional thoughts of impurity, so to speak. So in that stance, so with that coming from Rebels, like Mace could have also done it, because Mace had the purple lightsaber because he was kind of running the fine line of both sides.
Or he could draw from his special ability is he can draw from the dark side. He can draw power from the dark side and use it for light. Like most Jedis can't touch the dark side because it's too powerful, or it's too compelling for them to want power. Mace could do it without being tempted to go to the dark side. So technically, if he can use the dark side, he would be able to. I think anybody that can use the Force can open a holocron and just have, if they have like some, you know what I'm saying, some dark thoughts. Because you got to think about it like this. There's been Jedi that left the Order that never really turned to the dark side, just kind of followed their own path, and they were able to collect and open dark side holocrons. So
I don't know if the holocrons are like, that's compared to the evidence we've seen for other characters, a holocron is not a very compelling piece of evidence.
Yeah, I don't think it. Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, when you look at Ezra, you can go back and look, like he was able to get into he was able to do some stuff, but Ezra's heart was good. Yeah, he had a little dark time moments, but I think every Jedi and
everybody does. I think
to the dark side.
Yeah, I think he potentially could have been dark side. Like everybody has some kind of connection to darkness. Everybody has that temptation, and so yeah, did he possibly use the dark side to open the Sith holocron? Sure, but I don't think that makes him the chosen one, or I don't think it makes him even a Sith. I mean, Mace Windu uses dark side all the time when he fights. He just controls it. So I think it was just a similar circumstance where he used the dark side a little bit. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's just kind of crazy when you look at it all around. It's just a little bit. It kind of puts you in an aspect of, like, dude, the Force is not really light and dark. The Force is just the Force. Being dark is by your intention, by your heart, and by being light is by your intention and your heart. It doesn't really have anything. There's really no light or dark side of the Force. It's just your intention in using the Force. So it's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really hard to understand, because at one point in time or another, we're trying to depict the Force itself. And it's never the Force, it's the intention of the user of the Force. Like, what is your intention? Is your intention for power and destruction and right. death? And like, what the dark side, that's what makes the Force dark, is when you use it for dark side intentions. The light side of the Force is used for light side intentions. So it's like, what is your intention? What are you trying to use the Force for, which makes it dark or light? The Force is just the Force. The Force just does what the Force wants to do. The Force is never dark or light. You know what I'm saying? It's the intention of the person who's using the Force. So if you're using it for dark side shit, you're using the dark side of the Force, you're a dark side user. If you're using it for the intentions of the light side, you're a light side user.
I think personally, and it's something that I've brought up to CJ in our just small little discussions or whatever. I think personally that in the attempt to keep the balance, the Jedi in fact put the wedge further in between maintaining balance, because in order to keep keep balance, there can't be, because you're always going to have this battle if you segregate kind of oh, there is a light side, these are good people, this is a dark side, these are bad people. There's always going to be that differentiation. So if instead of going, oh, I'm a Jedi, oh, I'm a Sith, and training kids, the younglings as such, it should be more of like a whole, all of the Force users get together, they learn the positive and negatives of both sides, and they learn how to control both sides within themselves, because that's how you bring true balance, is you get to know about both sides. The Jedi refused to teach anything about the dark side of the Force. It was just, oh, you shouldn't even be having those thoughts. Well, if you're raised in this religion, in this school, in this whatever you want to call it, temple, and you're being taught, oh, well, this is the way, and we have to fight the bad guys. Well, in order to fight the bad guys, you kind of have to know what the bad guys think like, and you kind of have to know what the bad guys believe in, because that's a huge part in, especially in Star Wars, in how they attack. So how are you going to fight something if you don't understand or know or allowed to ask questions about how they're going to attack, what they believe, how they believe what they believe, all that? Like, you have to merge the two.
And see, that's what Revan did. Revan looked at it in a different point of view, because he at one point he was part of the dark side, one point he was part of the light, and then when he came back, they said he came back to the light, but he never really came back to the light, because he never rejoined the Jedi. He stayed away. He got married, and he stayed away from. I mean, he still went back to the temple and stuff, and he was still considered a Jedi, but he wasn't really a Jedi. And when he put back on the mask and he allowed the entire Force, both dark and light, to flow through him, that's what made him so powerful. And you know what I'm saying? Because he was in like a perfect balance between the two. So it's kind of, it all kind of, like I said, it just basically, it's your walk on what you do. Like, if you walk the side of light, then you're a light side user. If you walk the side of dark, you're a dark side user. But if you take somebody that just has the Force and they don't know anything about light or dark, they don't know that they're doing something out of darkness or light or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's just the Force. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as dark and light. There's just the Force. And that's really what it is. It's all about intention. All right, let's see what else this video has to say.
Tell me, is it the chosen one?
He is.
He will avenge us.
So at this point, Obi-Wan says that Luke is the chosen one. So what caused Obi-Wan to switch from Anakin being the chosen one to Luke being the chosen one? What switched his mind state?
I think he was just talking to Maul. Like, to Maul, the chosen one was the guy who was going to destroy the Sith. And so Obi-Wan had kind of lost faith in Anakin. And so, yeah, he's going to say Luke is the chosen one. But that doesn't mean he's necessarily right.
Well, I think
that was kind of my thought too.
Yeah, mine too. But it wasn't just Anakin that he lost faith in. I mean, we saw in Obi-Wan, he lost faith in absolutely everything. He had his entire world rocked, and here it is. This boy comes, and obviously not at this, but whatever. He comes in, and he's had whatever powwow with Ghost Qui-Gon, and he's watching Luke and all of that. I think just the prospect of Luke being Anakin's son was what got him to believe, hey, he's going to be the one to destroy him.
I can see that. I think it was just to Maul. I also think, I don't know, maybe Obi-Wan did think that Luke was now the chosen one. I disagree with it, but because he believed that Luke was like the last hope, which in a sense Luke kind of was, because it took the catalyst of Luke to get Darth Vader to live up to his potential as the chosen one, I guess.
Yeah, I think that it was a basis of, this is it. If Luke doesn't do it, it was going to be. And I think Obi-Wan was still believing in. I think he started believing more that it wasn't about the person, but about the Sith being destroyed. And that's why he told Maul that he was the chosen one, because he's like, dude, he's going to destroy Vader and Palpatine. He is the last hope.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I think the reality is Obi-Wan, as wise as he was in some instances, he also was very wrong and flawed in others.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Think he allowed his. Well, we see it within Obi-Wan a lot, because we see, him loving Satine, his love for Anakin, his just like he shut off the entire Force and was like, dude, we see it in Obi-Wan. He's like, dude, the Jedi are gone. What are you talking about, man? Dude, get the hell out of here before you get us both killed. You know what I'm saying? His whole faith was just destroyed at this point. So, he just his whole object at this point was just to make sure that Luke got to a point where he could take out Anakin and Palpatine. But I still think he believed at this point that Luke was the chosen one because he would be the one that would destroy the Sith, and that's part of the thing. Which that's not what the actual quote reads. You know what I'm saying? The chosen one shall come, born of no faith, and through him will ultimately balance in the Force would be restored. It doesn't say anything about the prophecy doesn't say anything about destroying the Sith. So that's where a lot of people get the misconception is the prophecy don't say shit about destroying the Sith. That's just something that was added in as Jedi hear it and be like, oh, so they must be destroying the Sith. That's not what it says. It says bring ultimate balance in the Force to be restored. So it doesn't say anything about destroying the Sith. I think a lot of Jedi just put that in there because that's what they believe was the factor in bringing balance to the Force. Like the balance was all about the light side taking over and there's no dark side. That's not balance. That's just, you know what I'm saying? There's no balance in it.
I think it.
True balance of the Force would be technically destroying everybody that could use the Force, and then the Force just be there. And that's when the Force would.
I disagree.
No,
because I think Jedis are necessary. I think true balance is following the will of the Force. The Force balances itself. The Force is like, for lack of a better term, the Force is God in the Star Wars world, and it's not like a person, but it's like this power that's in everything. And so I think true balance is following the will of that Force. Now, Jedi originally were supposed to preserve the will of the Force and follow that and help enact the Force's will throughout the galaxy and keep peace and harmony. But obviously the Jedi got kind of off track because they were so scared of the dark side that they put all these rules that kind of stopped them from being the true Force will enforcers that they were meant to be, because they were so scared of the dark side. The dark side, on the other hand, just seeks to completely bend the Force to their own will. So that's obviously not balance. I think true balance is someone who just follows the will of the Force, whether that be the proper Jedi or, I guess, gray Jedi or whatever you want to call it. That's what balance is. That the Jedi, in theory, were supposed to be.
Yeah, but as soon as they stop following the will of the Force,
then they're not. You're right.
Then that means the Force would have to set balance. That means they would have to bring somebody to destroy the imbalance within the Force.
Right.
And technically, Anakin does that because he kills all the damn Jedi and Order 66. You know, so technically you could sit back and say Palpatine was the architect of the balancing of the Force. He was the chosen one.
Palpatine
he's
was
the one that killed all the Jedi. But it still goes back to, you can't technically have, because if you really think about it, if you have Force users that are out there and they don't know anything about the dark and the light, they're going to be balanced because they're not knowing that they're using the Force. They're not even knowing what the Force is. They just know they have these abilities. Then you have the Sith and the Jedi. If there's more people drawing from the dark side than the light side, then it's an imbalance. And if there's more people from the light side than the dark side, then there's an imbalance. So at some point there has to be a balance, and if we're going off the will of the Force, then that means get rid of all of them. You know what I'm saying? And basically, that never happens. If you go through all 9 of the movies, that never happens because at the end, yeah, Palpatine is destroyed. Rey could be considered the chosen one, but you know what I'm saying? She's still a Force user. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They're still in imbalance because now she's more light than dark because of her heart and her will of being good, and there's nobody to do the bad. So at some point there has to be somebody come in to do the bad to balance it out. Okay, now let's finish watching because there ain't too much of this clip yet left.
And it's meant to be seen 1 through 6. So I think when you watch the actual movie in order, the story will become very clear that Anakin is the chosen one.
You refer to the prophecy of the one who will bring balance to the Force.
So basically, George said it's 1 through 6. And since technically everything after 6, everything that was made by Disney and all that, that's not considered canon by George. Anakin was the chosen one. If we're going off of just what George said. Now, if we're going off the entire Star Wars and we're going off of Legends and everything, it's still up for grabs because technically the chosen one would be created by the Force and not by Plagueis manipulating the Force. So it's all determined. It all determines on which, if we're looking at Star Wars in a whole or if we're looking at only canon. If we're looking at only canon, George said it, you base the first 6 movies and Anakin is the chosen one based on the first 6 movies.
I agree.
I concur.
Fuck y'all. Y'all supposed to disagree with me so we can argue about it.
No.
Okay, well, here's why you're wrong.
But it just in all reality, the argument is only valid if you look at everything else that's been put into Star Wars. If you're looking at it canonized, it is Anakin Skywalker is the chosen
Yeah.
one. So it's all about.
I mean, you can't
what you look
argue with the creator.
Right. But the thing is, like, all those clues, like when Obi-Wan says other things, I think that's very reflective of real life. Like, even real, like, religious prophecies in real life, there's very many different interpretations. You know how many Christian churches there are? You know what I mean? So it's like I think it did a good job of, like, kind of paralleling that confusion that comes with the unknown.
I mean, not even in the Star Wars universe. If you jump over to the Harry Potter one, the whole prophecy about Harry Potter being the chosen one, he was going to be the one to defeat Voldemort. It wasn't Harry that was named specifically. It just said a boy born in June or July was going to be the one to defeat Voldemort. However, that prophecy also could have been given to the nerdy dude with the toad, Neville, because Neville and Harry were born in the same birth month, the same year. So everybody kind of just placed it on Harry, and that's the way that everything happened. If everybody kind of assumed, hey, you know, Neville was also a boy born in.
Well, how many other boys born in freaking July? You know, there's like
it could have been a Muggle. Who knows?
Well, that was just the whole. Yeah, that was just the whole thing. Was
I mean, you got to think about how many other kids in that school was born in July that were boys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's like
So,
how many people a year? Like every day, like freaking thousands of people are born. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, just like the overall outlook, I think it was more. I think George was trying, because you got to think about it. Back when this was all being created, we had the Vietnam War going on. We had all this stuff, all this religious stuff coming out, all these different. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the 70s, there was a lot of cults going on. I think he tried to give an aspect of, dude, it's about your belief. You know what I'm saying? It's about what you believe. It's not about a certain aspect or a certain right or wrong. It's just about what you believe. Luke believed that he could save Anakin.
Oh.
So
it wasn't just that. It was the one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches. So he was about to be born to those who have thrice defied him, born as the 7th month dies, and the Dark Lord will mark him as his equal. He will have the power the Dark Lord knows not, and either must die at the hand of the other, for neither can live while the other survives. The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord will be born as the 7th month dies. So they were both born at the end of the 7th month. They both had parents that 3 times defied Voldemort. Like, that was the whole thing, is it could have been between Neville and Harry. Everybody just kind of threw it on Harry, but if everybody threw it on Neville, the roles would have been reversed. So that's kind of what I was getting at.
I don't know. All I heard from you was blah, 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 Harry Potter, because I don't know shit about Harry Potter at all. I can't stand Harry Potter. Like, I watched that whole shit once. It was confused in a motherfucker. Like, what the fuck was the point of this?
I was so mad. CJ showed me a video the other day, and he's like, Harry Potter and Star Wars are the same thing. And I was like, you want to try that again? Because what? And he showed me this video, and it was a breakdown. It was like, no, Harry Potter is just Star Wars with smaller lightsabers. And it was a whole video of breakdown of side-by-side comparisons
Exactly.
of
Harry Potter and Star Wars. Yeah, you get a kid who's lost his parents, being raised by his aunt and uncle, discovers he has strange, awesome powers by a bearded wise guy, finds 2 friends that go on his journey with him. You think he's gonna get with the girl, but really his friends gets with the girl instead. Like, these are all lining up. Turns out to be the chosen one that will defeat the ultimate bad guy.
Yeah, and then it was
the exact same story.
an old wise guy with a beard. They're mentored, or they're mentored by a short old man. One of Harry's teachers was Professor Flitwick. He was a dwarf with a big ass beard. And then Voldemort has a fucked up face. So does Vader. Like, it's the whole thing. The best friend is, you know, Han Solo and Ron, and then the girl that loves one but loves the other, and there's a constant fight there. Hermione and Leia. Like, it was Harry Potter is Star Wars just with smaller lightsabers. And I was like, I hate everything about you right now.
Chris says, LOL, older, wiser wizard that's high most of the time. What are you talking
Yes.
about? He was also trained by Yoda that was getting high off of his cane. Flitwick and Warwick Davis, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, so
They
Professor
wrestle with the same
Flitwick.
character.
Yeah, Professor Flitwick in Harry Potter was Warwick Davis. So there was also, or Davies. So there was another, like, it was,
Because you ultimately got to say, George wrote some awesome shit. It's been mimicked a whole bunch of times. You know what I'm saying? There's been a lot of shit that came out to be a lot like Star Wars. It, you know, when you create awesome shit, people try to make shit that's as awesome as your shit.
But
and
I mean,
they
this
use some of your
closely.
ideas because they're inspired by you. So it happens all the time.
Okay, I love Harry Potter, but JK did not use a few of the themes there. She fucking used all of them.
Yeah, that's a lot. It was like, I don't know. I watched that shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This dude's a werewolf and he's his friend and trying to kill him. Like, what the fuck is going on? This is weird as shit. I don't understand this shit.
Lenny, they did a better job showing the trading in Harry Potter than Star Wars, though. Oof.
I'm
not even mad.
That's not wrong. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, it's not.
You also have to realize the whole point of Harry Potter was a school of wizardry. So, like,
yeah.
If they didn't show the school, what the fuck was the point of the movie?
And I mean, again, the same thing, like the whole light and the dark side, like they refused to teach it. But yeah. So I forgot what I was gonna say. Never mind. Anakin's the chosen one. It's fine. I'll concur.
All right, so Garrison got to go, so we're gonna skip the what if today, and since we just had a big giant what if freaking thing that we talked about what if the whole time, and we're gonna jump over to news and rumors right quick, and then we're gonna get to the quiz so Garrison can get out of here.
Let's do
All right, so news and rumors. News and rumors. And just to let y'all know, I'm redoing that. That shit gets on my nerves now. We gotta
News and rumors.
That shit is annoying.
So, have you seen the thing about let me pull it back up really quick. The Halcyon?
The Halcyon, what the hell is that?
The Star Cruiser?
Oh, fuck that thing.
So there is a huge thing right now. The title of this says Disney goes to extreme measures to save struggling Star Wars hotel. So basically what has happened is they are losing money. Not that Disney has made a huge announcement about it, but they're losing money because it's ridiculously overpriced.
Like,
yeah,
I think there's a couple reasons. Like, we can talk about that real quick just before you actually. Sorry, go ahead, Tori. I don't want to cut you off.
You're good. So like even Disney cruise lines is about $3,000 for like a week. It's $5,000 for 2 nights. When it opened, old Bob, I'm saying former Bob, it's old Bob, was extremely confident in it. However, now as the 1-year anniversary of the hotel approaches, things seem to be faltering already. Bookings have gone up and down and haven't been as steady as predicted, and now Disney has gone to some extreme lengths to fill the room in the Halcyon Star Cruiser, including 2 measures that guests have not seen before. So the first one was Disney advertised that guests would save $700 on a 2-night stay at a Disney resort if they purchased the Galactic Star Cruiser experience. It costs the cut of a resort stay, but that's also after spending $5,000 for 2 nights. And then Disney has also canceled at least 9 separate voyages on the Star Cruiser, all during peak seasons, July through August. While those who had voyages planned during these slots have been offered a 50% discount to reschedule.
What?
So they just gave the money back and then said, oh no, if you want to reschedule, here's a code. You'll just get 50% off. Like, no, we canceled you. Instead of, hey, we'll reschedule you. No. Yes, they did that. And then guests started calling to reschedule and have started coming out saying that the Disney agents called them, or when they were talking to them, the Disney agents claimed that the cancellations are due to a refurbishment period. It is possible. However, usually they do refurbishments, all of that stuff during the lower seasons, in the off-2 months or off-season months, so that guests can, enjoy as much as they want to.
They should just cancel that whole damn
right.
thing.
Like it's
or at least
getting
lower the price to like $2,000 or something, or not shit, $2,000, like a couple $100. I ain't ever going to that shit for $5,000. You can kiss my ass. That shit way too much.
And they're like, whoa, it's $5,000, but your food is included.
Screw that.
For 2 nights. That's not $5,000. I don't eat $5,000 worth of food.
Like, no, that's just freaking outrageous.
Well, it's crazy because like they put the price at $5,000, which is a little high for most Star Wars fans. The only people that can afford $5,000 are people with a lot of money. So you're just lowering the amount of people that are going to stay there anyways. Because first, the only people that are going to stay at a completely Star Wars resort, a completely Star Wars themed resort where everything is Star Wars, are people who are pretty into Star Wars. The average Star Wars fan might go, but not for $5,000.
And even on that,
now you're lowering your market even smaller. Now that it's expensive, you got rid of even more of those Star Wars fans. So you're talking about crazy Star Wars fans who also have a shit ton of money. Once they go once, they're kind of done.
Also, if you are that Star Wars fan that saves up all that money to enjoy the Star Wars experience, why would you save up $5,000 for 2 freaking nights?
Exactly.
Especially when you could go to Galaxy's Edge or take a cruise for a week. You know what I'm saying? There's just way better stuff that you can do.
For
you
$2,000 right now?
$5,000.
Yeah,
you
so
can just
for
go to Disneyland and have all the freedom and flexibility and explore all you want for cheaper.
So I was actually on the Disney World, Disneyland, whatever website last night, and I was just, because I found this article last night, and I'm sitting there like, just okay, well, let's say 2 kids, 2 adults. What would that cost? That's still under $2,000, including park hopper for 5 days, for an entire week of Disney, a park hopper every single day. So that's an extra $60 on top of your already expensive Disney ticket. That's still less than $2,000. It only gets over $2,000 when you add a 3rd adult, but that's still 5 people for $2,300 for an entire week of Disney. And you can spend all week in Batuu and get the extra things that comes with Disney.
That's just crazy. That's just outrageous. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I don't know what the hell they were thinking about putting a price tag that high. Like, Star Wars fans are just all rich, and we're going to be like, oh, yeah, I got to go to this. I got to go see it. I'm not paying $5. I could go on a cruise and go to Disneyland or do Star Wars for less than that.
Disney, don't you know that most of your fans get your...
their 2 kids went and took the Disney cruise, and altogether, I think she paid like $2,800. And that's just for a week.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that's like, you're freaking crazy.
Disney, don't you know that almost all of your fans get our shirts from like Walmart for $5?
One of the things I had, I guess okay, so where am I here? The best booze for Star Wars fans. So we got some Star Wars alcohol.
The best alcohol.
Darth Vader whiskey decanter. And you can buy it on Amazon. It's $30. It's an elegant whiskey decanter, and they're perfect for anyone who leans towards the dark side, which is kind of crazy because it doesn't look like freaking Darth Vader. It looks like a stormtrooper.
Well, they have a stormtrooper one, and then they also have a Darth Vader one. So they probably just mixed up the pictures.
And then they have an Imperial Stout Trooper, which is a beer. It says, disturbing, dark, and strong. It's only right that an Imperial Stormtrooper would guzzle Imperial Stout. After a long shift of shooting at and often missing the good guys, you can nab a 4-pack of cans on the Russian Stout for $15 on Total Wines. And then they have Flying Cauldron Butterscotch Beer. While this isn't, wait, there's a wine too. Where's the wine? And then nope, they don't have a wine. Never mind, I'm lying. Okay, the Flying Cauldron. While this isn't an official section product, fans of, oh wait, that's not it. I guess it's just them two. I thought there was a wine, but that says Viking blood. Wait, there was a wine. Oh yeah, the Skywalker wines that you can order. You can see Skywalker Vineyards in California. Somehow the mastermind behind Star Wars has found time to run a California winery. So that means this is owned by George Lucas. Skywalker Wines runs a gamut of Pinot Noirs and red blends to sparkling white and rose. Find them directly through the website and order a few bottles of the Star Wars fan wine drinkers on the list. So we got
Kyle,
Star Wars wine, whiskey, and some beer.
How did you say that wine?
I don't know. Some Pinot.
A Pinot Noir?
Yeah, Pinot Noir. I don't know how to say that shit. Fuck, I'm French.
I'm sorry. I was listening to you. I was listening to you. I promised. But that just, I heard that and I was like, wait, did he really just say that?
Sorry,
like, is that how he said?
Hey, I don't know. I don't drink wine. I ain't French. I don't drink that shit. I ain't never drank wine.
Well done.
I never drank wine a day in my life, other than like some rock gut wine, like some Mad Dog 2020 or something like that. But I don't really consider that wine, even though it says it's wine. I drank some College Rossi a few times. That shit was disgusting.
Can you say cinnamon?
Cinnamon?
Oh, damn.
Cinnamon.
Okay, then go ahead.
Daisy Ridley has made... Right.
No,
well, I kind of do because it's about Acolyte. So she finally got over all of the bullying that she was receiving and jumped back on social media. She apparently went to the Wakanda Forever premiere. She sat next to somebody, and the person obviously recognized her as Daisy Ridley and started talking about the Star Wars universe. And gave her, some helpful tips about being a strong female character, etc., etc. And the lady that Daisy sat next to, sat next to, said that they saw the Acolyte and the Acolyte is amazing. I don't know, but Daisy Ridley says that this person said the Acolyte is amazing.
I don't know how she could have seen the Acolyte, because the Acolyte ain't even, they're filming it right now. So how did she see it?
I don't know, maybe it was the person that she was sitting next to wasn't specifically named, so it could have been a cast member, could have been a writer.
Like, I know that Ashley Eckstein said on the interview she did with Rebel Force Radio that she got to see some of the shit on set. But that's seeing stuff on set and seeing the actual film done is totally different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could see some shit on set and then watch it on TV and be like, what the fuck? This is garbage.
Right.
Oh, what is this? The set looked way doper than this. What are y'all doing? I know
Daisy
that
Riz-
there was another thing about Daisy Ridley that she admitted that she watches all the TV shows, and I was like, who doesn't? Like, if you like that shit is dope. Like, what are
Like
you talking about?
especially if you're in the Star Wars universe as big of a character as Rey Palpatine is.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like you kind of have to, because if there is talks, there's plans about having another set of 3 movies regarding the Rey Skywalker saga. Like you kind of have to keep up to date on the universe that you're a main player in. That would be that would be like when Avengers was like the original kind of Avengers universe, Marvel Universe Phase 1 or whatever it was coming out, and Civil War happened, and there's an interview of Robert Downey Jr. going, "Oh yeah, I have no idea what's happening in the other movies. I just show up," which I mean would be on par for Robert Downey Jr. Just saying.
Several Star Wars fans have raised concern regarding the skin color of the clones in the Bad Batch. Some people are saying that they're lighter, and they're starting to complain that it looks like they're whitewashing and kind of fading out Tamira Morrison's.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, dude, what the hell are y'all talking about? Are y'all really paying that much attention?
Dude, it's a cartoon. You probably just had your TV on a lighter setting than normal.
Yeah,
You probably just had your TV on a lighter setting than normal. It's a flipping cartoon.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I guess it's all about like lighting and dude, that's freaking crazy. Like, why are you complaining about that?
I'm looking this up. I'm doing a side-by-side comparison really quick.
All right. I have to go soon, so should we drop to the quiz?
Yeah, we can do that. Only thing I had is Lars Mikkelsen responded to rumors that he is reprising the role for Ahsoka, and he said he had not been asked yet to play in Ahsoka. So,
and then I just had one thing about Mandalorian. In the trailer, at the end of it, you see a Mandalorian that looks like Sabine. So we could possibly have a Sabine Wren come back in Mando season 3.
I could see that.
There was a rumor Snoke returns in the Mandalorian season 3. Just got more likely. I haven't. Well, just put it like this: Andy Serkis exclusive Supreme Leader Snoke may return to Star Wars Galaxy sooner than fans think. So I guess there was like a thing. Some said that he might be in fucking Mandalorian season 3, which it could happen. I mean, but it just kind of seems not very likely, but it's a big rumor that's going around right now. All right, let's get to the. Let's
do it. The quiz.
Stop right there, you rebel scum. Prepare yourself for the Star Wars Impossible quiz. Blast them.
So this time I tried to make it a little bit easier, but at the same time because we were talking about the Chosen One, so I kind of tried to keep it within the characters that we were talking about. Some of the characters, some of them just are not. Okay, so question number 1: what planet was Qui-Gon Jinn born on?
Shit, I know this.
I did too. I was just talking about it with other people.
Come on, guys, come on.
Sesame Street. I don't.
Sesame Street.
my brain went blank.
Narnia.
Narnia.
Yeah.
What the hell? That ain't even close. Ain't even the same
Liam
franchise. Ain't
Liam
Narnia
Neeson.
some other bullshit?
Yeah, Liam Neeson was Aslan, so Narnia.
Really?
Oh shit, he was.
I didn't know that.
He was the lion.
I didn't know that. I don't think I've ever watched Narnia.
Yeah.
Tython. Nope. Lenny, you're wrong. Taken Prime.
Flipping Tatooine.
Nope.
Coruscant.
Yep.
Really?
I just guessed Coruscant and got it right. He was born on Coruscant.
Let's go.
He just started pulling names out of his ass.
No. He does not seem like the type of guy to be born on Coruscant, though.
Okay. Question number 2. How was Padme when she died?
31.
Nope.
29.
Nope.
24.
Nope, you're just guessing at this point.
Yeah, I am.
35.
Nope.
21? 25.
Am I at least close?
Nope.
42.
Chris, nope.
67.
Nope.
50.
Nope.
Like Grogu.
All right. Y'all just guessing. Everybody's just guessing at this
Yeah,
point.
we're
She was
guessing. I
27.
don't know.
She
27.
was 27 years old when she died.
I'm pretty sure I said that.
No,
I'm just
you
kidding.
said 28, 31, 30.
You said
Okay.
21.
21?
What year was Master Yoda born?
900 BBY. No, 900.
You're pretty close.
942 BBY?
No, it was.
It's 900
Wasn't
something.
it? Wasn't it more than that? It was more than that.
Your first answer,
900.
Garrison, was pretty close.
912 BBY?
Nope.
It's around
915?
900.
Nope.
925. Did you say 25?
Nope.
I don't know.
All right. He was born in 896 BBY.
Oh.
I could.
Oh yeah, because fuck. I was thinking like, how old was he when he died? But he died after BBY, after the Battle of Yavin. So that's
He
why.
was born in 18. If you go by him being 900 years old when he died, and you go
Right.
back during the timeline, he's 896. Or I mean, he 896 BBY is when he was born.
Because the BBY thing screwed me up. Yep, that's
Okay.
right.
Sile Bibble, the governor of Naboo, was elected to be governor during whose reign on Naboo? Who was the king or queen of Naboo at that time?
Amidala.
No. God, that dude is old as shit. I'm talking about the old gray-haired dude. The one that says, you must contact us.
Oh,
Obi-Wan.
must contact me.
Yeah, it's that dude. That's Sile Bibble.
You must contact me.
The situation on Naboo is dire.
Yeah, so that's Sile Bibble. He is the governor of Naboo. He's old as shit, but he was elected to be governor during whose reign on Naboo? Nope, it wasn't Padme.
I honestly have no idea. The
All right,
two
ain't nobody gonna
this,
get this one.
the-
I knew this one was pretty hard. Okay, it was King Varunu. Or Varuna.
Yeah, I'm good friends with him. I know that name.
Varuna.
yeah, I was just at his house last weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
what was
very
the
familiar
name
with
of
that
the
name.
pilot that was showing young Anakin about the controls on the ship in the Phantom Menace?
Wait, his name is Sed, isn't it?
Hell,
I
no.
don't remember. Yeah, I think it is said in the movie. Like, I can't do that. You see that shit? Like, it just fucked up my whole green screen when I did this. Oh, now it's not doing it. What the hell's going on?
And now your corner is off.
Like, there was like a big shiny fucking thing.
Dude,
up
I
there or something.
remember I had this
I do too.
book.
Like, I
about
can
Phantom
see it.
Menace.
Peter Maverick
It's like
Mitchell.
some like very simple. It's a very
Lucent.
simple name. Tin.
Did you say Finn?
No, I said tin. I don't.
Oh. I was about to say, what the hell,
I just
Finn?
remember
Said no.
Pete Maverick Mitchell. There we go.
Said is not his name.
Rick Sanchez.
You're kind of close. All right. I'm gonna give
Wasn't
y'all
it?
the answer.
It was something along the lines of like the Garmin. Like it's something along the lines of Garmin, I think.
No.
Garmin navigation system.
No,
All right.
it's not Garmin, but
GPS.
His name was Rick Oley.
Rick Oley. Rick, yes, that's simple. Rick Oley. Dang.
Who was the first Jedi that Darth Maul killed to test his strength and skills?
Or Qui-Gon Jinn.
Nope. Against the wish of his master, he killed
Sifo-Dyas.
this Jedi because he wanted to test how strong he was.
Sifo-Dyas.
Nope.
Yaddle. No, that's not.
And I'll give you, it's not even really a Jedi. I mean, he's a Jedi, but he's a Padawan.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to tell you.
I
I
have
don't know
no
any
idea.
patterns besides Obi-Wan. I don't know. I give up.
I'm usually pretty good on mall trivia. I'm blanking.
Tony Romo.
The first person he killed to test his strength was Padawan Eldra Cadis on the moon of Drazikal.
Whose Padawan was he?
I don't know. I didn't look that up.
I don't even know who he is.
Dave. Okay. Who was Quinlan Voss's master?
Which one's Quinlan Voss again?
The Indian looking guy.
Yeah.
Oh, who's like
he hung around with Ventress.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Chat,
wasn't
man,
it?
Only
wasn't
person
it?
that's got any of these answers right was freaking Garrison, and it was on a guess.
Of course not.
Wasn't it Qui-Gon at a point?
No.
Mace Windu.
Chris, it's not Plo Koon. Come on.
I don't know.
Yoda.
No. All right.
Oh.
It is Jedi Master Thom. THOLM.
Who the flip is?
I don't know. That's what it says.
Thom. That's a weird name. All right.
Okay. This one might be a little bit here. Who was the Zabrak Jedi Master on the council when young Anakin was tested?
Oh, I remember the little. He's like brown. Judge Judy.
Infected. Yeah,
Judge
it's working.
Joe Brown.
You said Yoda. That was wrong.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like I can picture him. I see him very clearly, but I can't.
See, and he looks ugly, but I don't know what his name is. I give up.
He's supposed to look ugly. He's a. What do you mean? No, we can see his chat. What, Lenny? You can't see his chat. Or are you saying nope about the question? Which one?
I am confusion.
Nope. I don't know.
Camus. No.
Camus.
And just to let everybody know, Death Zone Max is Star Wars team leader. If you didn't catch that earlier in the chat.
Oh, I did not catch that.
You said nope, Lenny. So I was asking if you said nope to infected, is my chat working, or if you were saying nope to the answer to the question, like nope, I don't got it. Okay, it was. I'm gonna give you all the answer. It was Master Eth Koth.
Eth Koth?
Yeah, Eth. EETHKOTH. Eth is the first name. Koth is the last name.
Jeez Louise, brother. This is hard.
Okay, what species is known for their shape-shifting ability? Zam Wessel's species.
Changeling.
I mean, that's the word that Anakin uses to describe her, but that's not the species.
A Wendigo.
A Wendigo? A Wendigo. No. Come on, chat. What y'all got? What species is known for their shape-shifting abilities? Bothans. Oh, Bothans can't. Bothans can't
Wookiees.
change.
Do you think that a Wookiee would like go to desert planet if they had the ability to shapeshift and not get rid of the fur?
No, that's fair. Werewolves.
Walkers.
Werewolves.
Werewolves can change.
Werewolves
their
can
shape,
only
but change the wolfing thing.
Yeah, they can only go to
Wessel can change into anything. They're changeling.
Whatever
I'm gonna give y'all the
Mystique is.
I'm gonna give y'all the answer.
A mutant.
The Claudites.
Claudites.
Yeah, Claudite. Or Claudites.
What would you do for a
last
Claudite?
Question. Now this one should be a little bit easier. What type of jetpack did Jango Fett use?
There's different types.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of different types.
A Nimbus 2000.
Wait,
the Youngling Slayer 300.
Hang on, let me see if CJ is like still driving or not. Maybe he can answer this. Senor Mandalore.
It was
Von
a pointy
Dyke
one.
Bar, Rising Phoenix. That would be a good name for a jetpack.
Wait. No. It's in it's like a T4 T
TN56.
Lenny's on something. It's a T something.
Was it
T6 T minus 7 6 5. No. They say it in Battlefront. T6 jetpack.
Nope.
A Z6
Close, though.
jetpack.
What?
A Z6 jetpack?
Yep, it's the Z6 compact jetpack.
Let's go. I thought it was T, but maybe Z.
And the only reason I asked that question because I just found out today that they had different jetpacks. Because I actually clicked on
like different models.
I didn't know that.
All the different I said, damn, there's different jetpacks.
I'm
I didn't know
running
there
the
was different
Z6
jetpacks. So that's how I came up with that question. I was like, shit, I didn't know there was different jetpacks. I thought they were all just the same. But some of them got one rocket. If you go back and you look, some of them got one rocket, some of them got 3 rockets, some of them got 2 rockets. There's different types of jetpacks.
Boba's has a malfunctioning rocket.
Yep. Lenny says yes then, Garrison, because Lenny said 1056, which got you on the roll.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, guys. We're going to wrap this up because Garrison got to go.
I do.
So he doesn't want to hang with the cool kids.
On Wednesday night at the regular time. I don't think there's anything. Is anything changed? We're coming on a regular time, right?
Nah, all good.
And we'll be talking because February is coming. So we'll be watching Attack of the Clones come in February. We got a lot of stuff happening. So stay tuned because we'll be announcing some more stuff as the year progresses. And stay outrageous, and may the Force be with you.
Make sure to keep an eye out on the socials for random things. Yeah. Announcements, that's the word.
All right. May the Force be with you.
Thank you for tuning in to LSR. If you've enjoyed the show, consider subscribing so you can be notified when new episodes are released. If you would like to be a guest on the show or just want to give us some feedback, feel free to email us. You can also reach out to us on all major social media platforms. LightSaber Radio is produced by Pickfilm Media and is a Swaycast original, starring Garrison Turcotte, CJ Elliott, and Kyle McDaniel. And don't forget to join us next time for more adventures in a galaxy far, far away.